Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. I hope that you are all good. In today's video, we are going to be building one of the apartments for the apartment block that I recently built. So this is the apartment block. I built this in Newcrest and it has 6 apartments, and we're going to be building in the lower left one today, and this is one of the 1-bedroom apartments. The entire apartment block, I did build this on YouTube, so I will leave the video linked in the description box below, and it is also available as a shell to download on the Sims 4 gallery. But for today's video, we're going to be building the first apartment, and I wanted this one to have a bit of a spring vibe. I wanted it to be quite light and I wanted to use lots of pastel blues and greens, so that was kind of the theme I had in mind for this one. Now I don't know if I'm going to keep a lot of the apartments similar. Like originally when I built the apartment block, I was thinking that they would have, for example, the same kitchen counters or similar kitchen counters, similar bathrooms, but then after doing this one, I'm not quite sure if I want to keep with that plan. Let me know what you think in the comments below. But for this one, they have, so this is a 1-bedroom apartment, but I've left the kitchen living space kind of open plan. I felt as though this looked quite modern and fresh, so I went with a nice white wood flooring, and I used this throughout the apartment apart from the bathroom. And then I went for this lighter bluey green wall. I did also take in from the outside the exterior stone wall. I used that on the front wall here at the kitchen, and then I also used it on the back living room wall as well, as I really liked doing that. So I think I might keep that for the rest of the apartments as well, because obviously I'm thinking that this apartment block, it was all built at the same time, so the interiors would have been done at the same time. So I want them to be semi-similar, but of course I want each of them to have their own touch for the tenant or the sim that's living in it, whether they be renting it, owning it, etc. So yeah, I'm not quite sure, but I liked keeping some similarities between them. I've only built this one so far. I thought I would get a lot more of these done than I did, but I went away for a couple of days and I went to quite a beachy coastal area when I went away, and it's kind of, I've got that vibe in my mind, you know, coastal beachy spring vibes. So I come back and then that's what I went for this build, and I really loved how it turned out. I kind of pictured a single female sim living here, but there's definitely room for a couple. But I don't know, I just pictured someone in their single girl era. They like a mix of going out and being at home, and they have a few various hobbies. So I have placed a few different hobby items around. We have also got a little kind of computer desk area over on the right hand side as well, which I really loved. I loved adding in the touch of the tulips, as I felt as though that just give off the full-on spring vibes that I was going for. But overall, I really loved the color palette for this build. I played around a fair bit with the kitchen and to kind of get it all to work how I wanted it to. It is only a very small kitchen, but you've got your stove, your fridge, a sink. I even found some room for a coffee maker in there as well, and I've left one counter clear, so there shouldn't be any issues when it comes to cooking. I haven't yet play tested this one, but I will play test it before I upload it onto the gallery. I probably won't upload this build onto the gallery until I've finished all 6 of the apartments, but like I mentioned, if you'd like to build your own apartments in here, the actual shell is available on the gallery already. So I flew through and finished the bathroom. I ended up making a few changes, adding in that archway with the columns and the tile splashback. I felt as though these kind of touches would be something that someone would add in once they've moved in, rather than something that was built when the apartment was built. I wanted there to be a fair few plants in this space as well, because I wanted it to have those spring summer vibes. So I made sure to place down a few different plants. I kind of was playing around. I was really indecisive with which ones I wanted, because I wanted there to be that spring look, but I didn't want to go too floral with the plants, if that makes sense. I just imagined that the sim who lives here loves the lighter colors, the pastel vibes and things like that. And it was really nice to go through the catalogue, and pull out random objects that I might not necessarily use. I only very recently downloaded the high school years pack, and that has some beautiful pastel colour items in there that have a very young feel to them. So I felt as though that really worked for the sim that I had in mind for this apartment, as I kind of imagined this is maybe someone in her 20s. She's working a good job, so she could afford to go out and live in a nice place on her own, but she's still got a very young, fresh mind. I really loved these pots I used over in the corner, the decorative pots, and I just played around and sized down the pampas grass and added that into the pot. And I love doing that with items in The Sims 4, because if you don't have all of the packs or all of the kits, it's a great way to make existing items look different. I loved this wall shelf, and I added this on to the window. I would love something like this in real life in my own kitchen. I've been really looking around because I have a smallish kitchen window, and I don't like curtains or blinds up at it because I've just not found ones that I like. And I have loads of plants on my windowsill, and I've always saying I would love to go up and add another layer. And then I see this in The Sims, and I was like, that is what I need in real life. So now I'm on the hunt for something like that. But I really loved how it looked in the window. I pictured you'd get lots of light coming in for your plants, and they would all grow amazingly. I didn't want to go in and overly clutter up this place too much, because it just didn't feel as though that fitted the vibe for that particular sim. So I didn't end up adding too much else onto the shelves. It already comes with the 2 plants on there. So I just popped down the little elephant teapot and the butterfly frame because I just thought they looked quite pretty. And then we moved into this little bump out, which I thought would make the perfect area. I don't imagine that this sim works from home. I imagine this is kind of like a hobby area. So I placed down the car and put a few different hobbies on there. I did also place down the guitar, as I thought that would make a good hobby to do at home as well. And I did also place down the camera as well, so you could take pictures. We then moved on into the bedroom, and I played around with a few different beds, trying to find one where I really liked the duvet cover. And I ended up going for this one, and it worked really well with the curtains that I went for. I went for slightly darker curtains than pastel, because I just thought it's a bedroom, you want it to be nice and dark when you're sleeping. So I leaned in to that kind of teal mint green a little bit more in here compared to what we did in the bedroom, because I didn't want everything to be too matchy. And at first I didn't necessarily want this to be kind of like a color drenched style apartment, but it did lean into, maybe this is just her favorite color, so naturally as she's decorated her own apartment she's opted for those shades. But I really loved how the blues and greens worked together. I then popped down this shelving unit. I love how this comes pre-cluttered with loads of little bits, but then there are still plenty of slots where you can add on little items of your own. So I popped a few different things on there. The little jewelry stand, I really like that. I think that's from one of the clutter kits. I felt as though it just looked really nice. And then I liked doing the idea of kind of like a gallery wall above the bed. So I picked out some different frames. I sized these 2 down and just changed the swatches of them, and I thought they looked really pretty together and they worked really well. And then I did want to come in and add another little plant over here right in the window where it would get lots of light. This was quite a big bedroom, so I did struggle to fill it as much as I wanted to, because like I said, I didn't want to go in and over clutter, but I did want it to have a bit of a lived in look to it. We're then going to move on to the bathroom. Now this is a decent size bathroom for only one sim living here, so I decided I would actually add in a little laundry area over to one side of it. I could have fully closed this off as a separate room, which when I was playing around building I did try that out, but I just didn't like how it looked. So I went in anyway and added the wall back, and then I went for a archway, but then I decided to go similar to the look that we've done in the kitchen by using columns and the spandrel rather than a built-in archway. And I felt as though it kind of just made sense, you know, if you've gone for that style in the kitchen, to go for that style in the bathroom. But if you didn't like that, you definitely could just swap this out for a wall with a separate door, and then it's completely closed off from the bathroom, as I don't actually imagine it being very relaxing to be chilling in the bathroom with the washing machine and tumble dryer in the same room. Like in the UK, we usually would have our washer and dryer in the kitchen. But if I was to live in a house, I actually think it makes much more sense to have the washer and dryer upstairs in a bathroom. But maybe that's just me. I think it just makes more sense. Like that's where you take your clothes off. And if you live in a 2-story house, the bedrooms are usually upstairs. So it definitely would make more sense to have that up there. But I don't know if I find it very, like, I like my bathroom to feel quite calm and relaxing. So I don't feel as though this really fitted the vibe that I usually go for. But it was really functional if you do want to play with the laundry day stuff pack and have laundry in the room. I'm finishing off now just by going around and adding in light switches, smoke alarms, and those little bits and bobs. And then this was the finished look. I really loved how it turned out. I thought it looked nice and bright and airy and a really nice fun place to live in. After doing this, it kind of reminded me of a build I did for the Not So Berry challenge years ago. I built a apartment. It wasn't an apartment, it was a tiny home for the mint generation, and this kind of give off that kind of vibe as well. I think it's where the bedroom very heavily leaned in to that mint green, but I loved that it hit the nail on the head for me with the spring vibes. So I hope you guys see that as well. If you did enjoy this video, please do give it a thumbs up and leave me a comment below. I'm slowly going through and building the rest of the apartments. We have 5 more to do, so they will be up on my channel as I do them. But if you have any suggestions for the other apartments, then please do let me know in the comments below. We have 2 more 1-bedroom apartments to do, 2 studio apartments, and 1 2-bedroom. So there's plenty of rooms for ideas in those. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all have a lovely day. Lots of love. Take care. Bye bye.